7 farmers killed in fresh Plateau attack. Jigawa State destroys over 5 cartons of expired noodles. And the foreign scene, dozens killed, 100 injured in fire at Sweets Keys Resort. Hello, good evening and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I am Fatima Ahmed Musa. Now, Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed has alleged that there is a deliberate plot by some political actors to tarnish his image and destroy his integrity. Speaking on Channels Television Thursday, Mohammed dismissed claims linking him to terrorism financing, insisting that Bauchi remains one of the safest states in the northern Nigeria. He accused the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, of orchestrating efforts to associate him with banditry and destabilize the state. The governor described Wike as an undertaker of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, claiming the minister is not a genuine party member. He also alleged that attempts had been made to implicate his relatives and accused individuals around President Bola Tinubu of working against him. Mohammed warned that political intolerance and impunity could have grave consequences for the country. Responding during a thank you visit to Abuja local government area of Rivers State, Wike dismissed the allegations, saying Mohammed was merely shifting blames for his political setbacks. The former Rivers State governor insisted that Bala Mohammed's challenges were self-inflicted and unrelated to him, stressing that his disagreement with the Bauchi governor were strictly party-related and not linked to governance or financial matters.
Look at my pedigree and my antecedents. A public servant, a senator, a minister. There are people behind it, and I know, and I'm going to mention them today. Somebody said he's going to put fire in my state. FCT Minister Wike. And I understand he is controlling all these institutions, bribing people, selling land and using it, taking stupendous resources. I was in FCT for 6 years. It's not a new terrain to me. And he said nobody questioned, he's a terrorist. And that's what he's doing. My name as a governor, for the time being, should be protected because it has the Constitution. For you to mention me, that I, Bala Mohammed, governor of Bauchi, approve. You don't do that. I don't say that it should not be mentioned if my commissioner of finance is involved in terrorism. But for you to set aside all my amenity, it's unfortunate. K is a big drag on the administration, and the president should know. He is an undertaker in our party. You have to know the background. Chaplain, you know everything. He is not there as a genuine member of the PDP. And I fought him. I was even at the secretariat when he went there to take over. You cannot be in two places at the same time. It's against the rule of nature. You see, you cannot be a man and a woman at the same time. He is with them.
Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara on Thursday called on residents to remain undisturbed by sounds of conflict, reaffirming the state government's unwavering support for President Bola Tinubu. In his New Year address delivered at the Rivers State Government House, Fubara reminded listeners of the commitment made to President, who he said has stood by the state. The governor emphasized that the administration's backing for Tinubu will not be expressed through noise or threats, but through peaceful and lawful actions that reassure the people of Rivers State. Fubara's message comes amid heightened political tension in the region, with the governor urging citizens to maintain peace as the state moves into the new year.
Don't be carried away or be scared by the stories of war, but listen gently and quietly to that whisper that God is going to give to us. So I want to thank you for standing with us. You know our mission. You know the promises we made for the people who supported us. The man who stood by us, the one who made it possible for us to still stand there to say 2026, here we come. We will continue to give that support, not by noise, not by threats, but by assuring the good people of River State that in a peaceful and understanding manner, that tinubu would have his way in River State.
Senate President Godswill Akpabio has directed his lawyers to withdraw all pending lawsuit against Senator Natasha and other individuals. Akpabio disclosed this while speaking during a New Year service at Sacred Heart Parish in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. He said he had previously filed nearly 9 court cases against individuals he accused of defamation and slander, but decided to have a change of heart after listening to the priest's sermon during the service. According to him, the message inspired him to forgive those involved, prompting his decision to discontinue all legal actions. Now, at least 9 farmers were killed in a fresh attack in Bomb community, Chugui Vong district of Jos South local government area of Plateau State. According to residents, the attack occurred around 11 p.m. on Wednesday, while many were asleep. Trust TV's Adomusa reports.
Confirming the incident on Thursday, the spokesperson of Birom Youth Mullah Association, Ruang Tiangguan, said the bodies of the victims have been recovered, while search and rescue operations continue in the area. He added that the tragic attack occurred despite earlier security alerts, warning that several communities in Jos South local government area were at risk. Government officials and community leaders who visited the community offer condolences to the families of the victims and urge both the state and the federal government to take decisive action against the growing insecurity in Plateau State.
Very peaceful community. Chugui is very accommodating, and for this to have happened unprovoked, people celebrating the New Year because it happened in the early hours of the morning. It's very quite unfortunate that you have 9 people being killed. And when we say that an act of genocide has happened here, some will argue against it. But these are facts. What has happened are very quite unfortunate. That the vigilante within one community, and especially Jos South, have been up and doing, and coming to take them unawares, it's very quite unfortunate. So the bodies are there that you have seen, that 9 people were killed.
Despite all security meetings and engagements that we had, we had series of meetings early December. Even now, we have distress calls. We have patrol teams on ground that we have mounted across all the security agencies and even fire service in case of fire outbreak. But to our greatest dismay, this ugly incident happened after putting in more effort and resources to ensure that our people celebrate Christmas and New Year safely.
The incident that happened yesterday night is a confirmation of Christian genocide in Nigeria and Plateau State in particular. Because the village in Buhum, all are members and a Christian community. There's no pagan, there's no Muslim. And what is the reason of attack? It's not a grazing issue, it's not communal clashes, but it's a genocide.
About 8-9 p.m. of 31st December 2025, when our people were preparing to commence the celebration of a new year, terrorist elements who have been on the plateau, who have been killing and committing a lot of mass atrocities stormed Buhum village of Chugi community in Buang district of the South local government area in Plateau state, North Central, and killed gruesomely 9 people.
This latest attack adds to the increasing list of violent assaults on innocent communities in the state. Stakeholders are calling on the government to implement urgent measures to prevent the recurrence of attacks and killings in Plateau State. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Now, gunmen have set fire to the divisional police headquarters in Ipele community or local government area of Ondo State. The attack, which occurred at about 9:40 p.m. on Wednesday, led to the destruction of several exhibits at the station. The Ondo State Police Command confirmed the incident in a statement by its spokesperson, DSP Abayomi Jimo, who said no life was lost. He dismissed reports circulating on social media that a church was attacked, describing them as false. According to plenary findings, between 20 and 30 armed men stormed the police station, firing assault rifles and deploying dynamite before fleeing the scene. DSP Jimo said the Commissioner of Police, Adebowale Lawal, has deployed additional special forces to the area to restore calm and track down the perpetrators. Now, the Nigeria Army has appealed to residents of Sokoto State to assist in the recovery of debris from a weapon reportedly shot down by the United States, describing the request as crucial to national security. Military sources say the debris is needed for technical and forensic investigations to determine the weapon's origin, purpose, and how it was neutralized. They explained that such information is vital for intelligence assessment and counterterrorism efforts. The Army stressed that the appeal reflects transparency and cooperation, urging residents to voluntarily support the investigation and avoid tampering with or concealing any recovered items, which could be dangerous and compromise security. It also warned against rumors and misinformation, calling on the public to remain calm and allow professionals to handle the matter, noting that national security is a shared responsibility between citizens and security agencies.
We can only appeal to them to return all materials that may prove harmful to them. We don't expect anybody to take away those materials. We have formations within the armed forces whose duty it is to recover those things. So we also want you to disseminate to them that they should return them to the military or security locations so that we can disarm those things before they cause greater damage to the individuals who have taken them and to the other members of the public.
Now to Kano, security in the state recorded both progress and setbacks in 2025. Despite persistent concern from residents over thuggery, drug abuse, and recent banditry incursion, police authorities say thousands of suspects were arrested and major recoveries made. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim reports.
In 2025, scenes of jungle justice became increasingly common across Kano, with tricycles allegedly used in attempted phone thefts set ablaze by angry mobs. A security assessment across Kano's 44 local government areas highlighted major challenges including poverty, drug abuse, rising urban crime in metropolitan areas, bandit infiltration in 17 border communities, and farmers-herder clashes in 19 rural settlements. Between January and December, the Kano State Police Command recorded over 3,000 arrests for various offenses. Major successes recorded include seizure of firearms and illicit drugs, as well as the recovery of stolen items. At an end-of-year briefing, the Commissioner of Police, Ibrahim Bakori, said strengthening community policing remains central to improving security in the state.
After critical assessment of the threat, a crime mapping exercise was conducted that birthed a robust result-oriented action with enhanced community policy engagements,
As insecurity continues to weigh heavily on both urban and rural communities, residents say attention must be given to youth empowerment and support for local security structures.
Especially Zango, Kopam Mata and Yakasai. If you look at our area, you see everything going well. We have to call the government to support our youth. Most of our boys, they don't have jobs. That is causing these problems.
A part of security, gaskiya, the security manpower, the government must have increase in security manpower, gaskiya, and the neighboring watch.
The problem of unemployed youth and weak community intelligence gathering has really affected us. So this year, we want to see more effort in these areas. Looking ahead, authorities say 2026 will see expanded intelligence-led operations. A newly launched neighborhood watch initiative comprising 2,000 men and women has already begun operations. Officials believe stronger community partnerships combined with proactive enforcement and social intervention will help restore lasting peace and security in Kano State. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
Now, the Court of Appeal sitting in Kano has upheld the death sentence passed on Abdul Malik Tanko for the killing of 5-year-old Hanifa Abubakar. Delivering judgment, Justice A.R. Muhammad, dismissed Tanko's appeal and affirmed the decision of the Kano State High Court, which sentenced him to death by hanging. The court held that the trial court properly evaluated the evidence before it, describing the prosecution's case as compelling and convincing. Justice Muhammad ruled that the appeal lacked merit and found no reason to interfere with the lower court's judgment. He further urged relevant authorities to ensure the sentence is carried out after the convict exhausts all legal avenues of appeal. Hanifa was abducted in December 2021 by Tanko, the proprietor of Noble Kids Academy in Kano, where she was a pupil. After demanding a 6 million ransom, Tanko poisoned the child, leading to her death. The case sparked nationwide outrage due to the victim's age and the breach of trust involved. Tanko was charged alongside Isiaku Hashim and Fatima Jibril. In July 2022, the Kano State High Court sentenced Tanko and Hashim to death, while Jibril received a 2-year jail term. Now, civil servants in Gombe State who received their salaries through Access Diamond Bank are calling on the state government to urgently intervene following non-payment of their December salaries, despite early release of funds ahead of the Christmas celebrations. Hassan Koli completes the report.
Several affected workers said that the delay has caused severe hardship, leaving many families stranded throughout the festive period. They explained that while salary payment challenges with Access Diamond Bank have occurred in the past, the December delay has been the most troubling, affecting hundreds of civil servants across various ministries.
Gaskiya ga yara suna nan suna kuka. Kuma gashi nan kuma an yi Christmas babu salary.
As the breadwinner of my family, I depend entirely on my salary. I kept assuring my children that our Christmas shopping would happen once the alert dropped. But up till now, nothing.
Other workers lamented that many celebrated Christmas without basic food items caught between the State Treasury House and the bank, with each party blaming the other for the delay.
Amma mu muna samun albashin ne mu a karkashin Diamond Access, wanda sakamakon akan biya albashi bayan sati ɗaya mu kafin nan mu samu namu.
We were told at the Treasury House that the problem was from the bank, while the bank said it was from the Treasury. That is why we decided to bring this issue to the public. The workers appealed to the state government to step in and find a lasting solution, noting that recurring glitches have forced many civil servants to consider moving their salary account to other banks. Effort to get reaction from both the bank and the government proved unsuccessful. At Access Diamond Bank, journalists were informed that the branch manager was unavailable. while a senior officer declined to comment, citing lack of authorization. While the Gombe state government has earned commendation for timely salary payment, hundreds of civil servants banking with Access Diamond Bank raising concerns over the need for urgent intervention to prevent further hardships. Hassan Lawal Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Now, the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) has called for an urgent nationwide wage review, warning that inflation and rising living costs have severely eroded workers' incomes. In a New Year message signed by NLC President Comrade Joe Ajero, the Congress said salaries must guarantee life, not merely survival, insisting that existing wages no longer reflect economic realities. The NLC describes 2026 as a decisive year for engagement with government, noting its readiness to dialogue with the federal government following assurance of more meaningful consultations by President Bola Tinubu, while pledging to pursue improved pay and working conditions through legitimate means. The Congress warned that workers would remain vigilant and mobilized to demand accountability, social justice, and policies that genuinely improve living standards. The Federal Capital Territory Fire Service has confirmed that fire outbreak at Cake Hut restaurant in Wuse to Abuja on Thursday was successfully contained with no casualties recorded. Speaking on Thursday, the controller of the FCT Fire Service Command, Amiola Adebayo, said the service received a distress call at about 12:25 a.m., prompting the immediate deployment of firefighters to the scene. According to Adebayo, preliminary investigations revealed that the fire was caused by an object thrown from outside the premises during New Year's celebration, which landed on a thatched roof within the restaurant. He added that firefighters from both FCT Fire Service and the Federal Fire Service worked jointly to extinguish the blaze, with support from the police, who assisted in traffic control to allow emergency vehicles access. Adebayo confirmed that the fire was completely put out and no lives were lost. And now we'll move to Kaduna. While many Nigerians celebrated Christmas with joy and hope for a better new year, widows in Romi community, Kaduna State, say the festive season only exposes the daily hardships they face. The rising cost of living, unemployment, and little support, survival has become a constant struggle. Trust TV's Bello Musa reports from Romi.
In Romi community, Christmas passed quietly for many widows. There were no celebrations, no special meals, and no preparations for the new year, only unanswered prayers and daily struggles. Most of these women lost their husbands years ago and are left to raise their children alone, without stable income, and with many of their children unemployed. Hunger is a constant companion, and the festive season only highlights their harsh reality.
We find it difficult to get food. There was a time I sat down crying because I didn't know what to feed my grandchildren. I spent 2 days without food until somebody came and gave me maize and some money.
Their story mirrors that of many widows in the area, a life of uncertainty where every meal depends on the kindness of others.
If we have food, we eat, and if we don't, we pray. We have just ushered in the new year, yet we are celebrating because we don't have money. We only wait and see what God will do. We are happy that we are now in the new year, but it isn't worth celebrating because we don't have what it takes. I'm a widow and I have no support. We want the government to give us fertilizer so we can farm.
Beyond hunger, widows say unemployment has pushed some young people into dangerous lifestyles, including drug abuse, theft, and internet fraud as a means of survival. Safrata Anthony shared how scarcity has affected her grandchildren, stressing that peace remains critical to their survival.
We need the government to help us. When the textile industry was thriving, many of our children were employed, but now they are roaming the streets without jobs, and this often leads youth to engage in vices.
Humanitarian worker Blessing Sunday emphasized the long-term consequences of neglecting widows. She calls for interventions beyond seasonal charity, urging sustainable empowerment programs, vocational training, and job opportunities for widows and their children.
That we feel that the issue of charity is a seasonal thing, meaning it's only during festive period that we look out for the less privileged. I think every day should be Christmas.
With the new year setting in, widows Iromi say they are not asking for luxury, but for dignity, food on the table, and opportunities to rebuild their lives. They urge government, organizations, and individuals to remember them not only during festive season, but throughout the year. Bella Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Jigawa State destroys over 5 cartons of expired noodles. The summer will return. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is News Hour on Trust TV. In case you missed it, here's a recap of our top stories again. We told you that Bauchi Governor Bala accuses Wike of plotting to put fire in his state. And 7 farmers killed in fresh Plateau attack. And now move on to more stories. Jigawa State government has taken a decisive step to protect public health by destroying thousands of cartons of expired noodles originally meant for immunization campaign. The exercise, carried out in collaboration with the World Health Organization (WHO), aims to prevent unsafe food items from reaching the public. Trust TV's Rabiu Ali reports.
In a move to safeguard public health, the Jigawa State Primary Healthcare Development Agency destroyed 5,520 cartons of expired noodles across the state. The items were destroyed through controlled burning on Wednesday in Duse, following strict safety and environmental procedures. The noodles supplied by WHO were initially intended to support the National Immunization Plus Days (NIPDs) campaign. Yusuf Inwa, an immunization cold chain officer, explained that the noodles had been pre-positioned in all 27 local government areas of the state before the campaign was postponed. Once it became clear that the items could no longer be safely distributed, the agency immediately recalled them from all locations.
We are here to witness the burning of expired noodles that have been provided by WHO to support National Immunization Plus Days, which we plan to conduct it on 26 November 2027. So based on the directive from the national, the campaign has been postponed. So that is why we return and we retrieve all the vaccines back to the state postal. And later we are now assigned to conduct the exercise. Well, the notice has passed the BB, which we can call it best before, which is on 2nd December 2025.
Officials emphasized that the destruction exercise was conducted transparently to prevent expired food items from entering the market. Security personnel, environmental protection officers, and members of the media were present to observe the process and ensure full compliance with health and safety standards. The exercise underscores the state government's commitment to protecting public health and maintaining trust in immunization and healthcare programs. Authorities have reassured residents that strict monitoring mechanisms are in place to ensure that only safe and approved items are distributed during public health campaigns in Jigawa State. From Jigawa, Ali Rabiu Ali, Trust TV News.
Now, religious leaders in Kaltungo community have renewed their commitment to prayers and forgiveness, seeking to usher in the year 2026 in peace. The initiative took place at the end of 2025 Kaltungo Cultural Festival during an interfaith meeting held at the May Kaltungo Palace. Trust TV's Adamawa reports.
During the interfaith meeting between the two major religions in Nigeria, Islam and Christianity, community members were reminded of the importance of sustaining the peace and harmony enjoyed in Kaltungo Chiefdom and neighboring communities in Gombe State. Clerics expressed gratitude to God for uniting them as one community indivisible despite their different beliefs, and highlighted the role of forgiveness in promoting social cohesion.
This gathering is very, very essential, and it's very, very good to tell people that let people live in peace, but the nation and the state, local government, and even our community will live in peace. But we appreciate this gathering, and we are praying that God would live with us and guide us through.
We want to appreciate my Kaltungo, my Martaba, for bringing such a meeting together. Indeed, in this our community, there are diversity of faiths. You cannot say that the Christians are the only people, the Muslims are only people. And there are a lot of misconception, misunderstanding. But I think meeting together, when we meet together, we do things together, we reduce the kind of tensions that we're having in the area of lack of peace.
Living in peace, because this religion is talking, we are one God, and we are serving one God. So I'm calling people of Nigeria, both Christian and Muslim, to live in peace, be patient and forgiveness. We pray that our country may be united together.
Earlier, May Kaltungo Saleh Muhammad Umar urged the federal government to intensify effort in addressing challenges in rural education and agriculture. Imams also shared their reflections on the significance of interfaith dialogue for peace and development.
We are living in a diverse country where we have different religions, different ethnic groups, but our source of life is one. Our God is one. We are praying one God, and all the roots of the religions, the major two religions, that is Islamic religion and Christianity, the major source of the religions are one God.
State at large, because as Secretary of Jamaat Nasr al-Islam, I know how we relate together with our Christian brothers, where we have common interests, we sit down together, and when we come to consensus, and each and every one of us go and implement. Therefore, this type of gathering is worthy of emulation.
The May Kaltungo stressed that every community deserves respect, love and cooperation for sustainable development in 2026. The meeting underscored the power of unity, prayer, and mutual respect in building peaceful communities, setting a positive tone for the new year. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Kaltungo.
Now, following controversies surrounding the ongoing employment exercise in Adamawa State, the government has announced plans to issue appointment letters electronically to all successful candidates. The secretary to the state government, Barrister Awal Tukur, disclosed this while briefing journalists at the government house in Yola. He expressed concern over challenges encountered during the recruitment, including the omission of some qualified candidates and duplication of names. To ensure transparency, Barrister Tukur explained that all appointment letters will now be issued strictly through candidates' registered email accounts. He further announced that any appointment letter previously collected manually have been cancelled and are now invalid.
The governor and his government wanted to have a very objective, level playing field, merit-based as much as possible, to ensure that those that really deserve to be in this employment cadre did so. All letters that had hitherto been issued of employment based upon whatever list are hereby cancelled and no longer valid. The process now is that all those successful applicants, approximately 4,200 thereabouts, will be notified electronically through their registered emails. And that is a process we've gone back to ensure we bring back integrity into the system. So applicants should please be calm. From tonight, I hope, we will start releasing those lists. We'll publish those lists into the system. They will receive their emails in their boxes. And we've insisted they should also get a second message by their registered phone numbers so that nobody will say he did not see or hear.
Now from Adamawa, we move to Gombe State. The Governor, Muhammad Inuwa Yahaya, presided over the final State Executive Council SEC meeting for 2025, approving key projects in education, infrastructure, transportation and economic development. The 51st and final SEC meeting of the year was held on Wednesday at the Government House in Gombe. Trust TV's Hassan Lawan Koli reports.
Briefing journalists after the meeting, the Commissioner for Information and Culture, Honorable Mijinyo Ardotilde, said the Council considered and approved several memorandum from the Ministries of Education, Works, Housing and Transport, as well as Finance and Economic Development. In the education sector, the Commissioner for Education announced the approval of over 661 million naira to cover senior secondary certificate examination fees for 23,873 students across the state.
Out of the 23,873%, which is 88% of the candidates who sat for the mock exams, 21,909 are indigenes of Gombe State. And in his magnanimity, His Excellency also pays every year for the exchange students. So this year we have 183 exchange students from the 18 other northern states. And being an inclusive government, we pay for the students with special needs. They don't even have to take the mock examination. So this year we have 53 students with special needs. The total sum of the payment is 661,557,121 naira only, to be shared between Gombe State government and the 11 local governments.
For infrastructure development, the Commissioner for Works, Housing and Transport disclosed that the Council approves the construction of 6.3 kilometers of road within the family homes estate extending to northern Tumfre at a cost of over 7 billion naira.
This airport was constructed in 2005 and was commissioned in 2008. Since then, there is no any major overhauling or maintenance that has been carried out in the airport. And look at the number of years. I'm almost 30 years, 20. Council now decided to upgrade it, at least renovate some facilities, and then construct new facilities.
The Council also approved funds for road infrastructure and facilities at the Qatar Foundation site along the southern bypass, the construction of a Gombe Geographic Information Systems Area Office, and the renovation and upgrade of Gombe International Airport Lawanti to meet international standards. On financial matters, the Commissioner for Finance and Economic Development announced the approval of over 321 million naira for compensation to property owners affected by ongoing road project. He added that an additional 140.8 million naira was approved as compassionate payment to landowners at Jauro Abare, where an international livestock and grains market is under construction.
The 6 states have agreed to contribute the sum of 5 billion naira each, totaling 30 billion, for the purchase of 2 aircrafts that will be utilized for the Northeast Shuttle. There were 2 decisions: either you borrow $20 million to buy, or you all pay 5 billion naira each. And the 6 governors have agreed to contribute to that sum. And so Gombe's 5 billion has been approved, and we are going to make sure that we make that payment today.
These approvals marks the final policy decisions of the Gombe State Executive Council for 2025. The Inwe Higher Administration reaffirms its commitment to improving education, infrastructure, and economic growth across the state. Hassan Lawan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
At least 6 people have been confirmed dead, while 2 others were injured in a crash on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway near Nasford Junction in Ogun State. The Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC said the accident, which occurred around 2:36 p.m. on Thursday, involved a Mazda commercial bus and a Volvo truck. 6 victims died on the spot, while 2 sustained injuries of varying severity. FRSC personnel, alongside police and trace officials, carried out rescue operations. Some injured passengers were taken to Famobase Hospital, Loto, while others were reportedly transported, by bystanders to unknown hospitals. The deceased were deposited at the morgue. You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. We'll return shortly after the break. Welcome back. And now in business, Nigeria's stock market achieved a historic milestone in 2025, with equities surging 51.19% despite challenges from naira devaluation, high inflation, and global economic pressures outspacing the previous year's 37.65% gain. Market capitalization jumped by a record 36.62 trillion, reaching 99.4 trillion from 62.76 trillion in 2024, marking the largest annual increase on record and consolidating the bullish trend seen in 2024. After a slow start to the year, trading activity picked up, driven by strong corporate earnings, dividend payouts, improved currency stability, and bargain hunting in fundamentally sound stock. Initially, investors favored fixed income security amid high yields and tight monetary conditions, but market sentiment strengthened as the year progressed. The Nigeria Exchange and All-Share Index rose from 102,926.40 points on December 31st, 2024 to 155,613.03 points on December 31st, 2025, reflecting the 51.19% growth. Foreign investors' participation improved modestly to 21.2%, though still below historic average. Total foreign portfolio inflows surged 182% to 1.1 trillion, while outflows rose at 99.6% to 909.6 billion, producing a net positive foreign portfolio balance of 208.2 billion for the first time in 3 years. Analysts attributed the gains to enhanced foreign exchange liquidity, clearer policy direction, relative currency stability, a renewed confidence in Nigerian assets. Still in business, the Naira has closed 2025 on a stronger note at the official foreign exchange market. Central Bank of Nigeria figures show the local currency exchange at 1,435 Naira 75 kobo to US dollar on Wednesday, gaining 9.93 Naira from the previous day's close of 1,445 Naira 68 kobo. This represents a 0.7% appreciation, reflecting improved liquidity and growing market confidence. A CBN official attributed the gain to seasonal inflows and Yuletide liquidity, which helped stabilize the market. Analysts say the performance caps a positive festive period for the Naira, adding that caution optimism is expected to guide trading into the early 2026. Now away from Nigeria, several people are feared dead while scores were injured after a fire broke out during a New Year's party at an alpine ski resort in southern Switzerland. A spokesperson for the Valley Police, Gaeta Lation, confirmed the incident but did not disclose the exact number of casualties or the cause of the fire. He said further details will be provided at a joint press conference involving the police and the Katon's public prosecutor. The affected areas is known for high-end holiday resort, and investigations into the incident are ongoing. Now in Conakry, supporters of Guinea's junta leader, Mamadi Doumbouya, celebrated after he was declared the winner of the country's presidential election. The vote held on 28 December was Guinea's first since the 2021 coup that brought Doumbouya to power. According to the General Directorate of Elections, Doumbouya won 86.72% of the votes counted so far, while his closest rival, Yero Balde, a former education minister under Alpha Condé, came in a distant second with 6.51%. The Directorate reported that 80.9% of the 6.7 million registered voters participated in the election. However, Balde disputes the results, stating his objection during a press briefing on Wednesday. Analysts had predicted Doumbouya's victory, citing a weakened opposition and the context of a transition process that began 4 years ago after he ousted former President Alpha Condé. The election is widely viewed as a means to legitimize Doumbouya's continued stay in power. As celebrations continue among Doumbouya's supporters in Conakry, the country faces scrutiny over the credibility of the poll and the opposition's call for transparency in the electoral process. And now for sport updates, let's join Adeni Ajishafe.
Gabonese government has suspended the national team, the Panthers, till further notice, while also dissolving the technical staff. The interim minister of sports, Simplice Desire Mambula, confirmed. The technical staff suspend the national team until further notice. A statement from the Gabonese Ministry of Sport said on 4th January. The government also resolved to remove players Bruno Manga and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from the team. Bruno Manga's defensive blunder gifted Mozambique a penalty in their crucial penultimate group clash, which helped forward Guinea Kadabo double the lead for the Mambas after Faisal Abdul Bangal found the breakthrough 5 minutes earlier. Aubameyang reduced the tally at the stroke of half-time and missed 2 key chances to that sport news. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
With that, we have come to the end of News Up Hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to watch and catch us across all our social media platforms for more news, and join our YouTube live stream for more programs and documentaries. I am Fatima Ahmed Musa. From me and the crew, thanks for watching and good night.